What's going on, guys? National Master James Canty III here with Grandmaster Benjamin Bach. We do have the U.S. Chess Championships, the tiebreaks. There's only 3 left. Bach, are you ready?
I'm definitely ready. Yeah, I think there's going to be fire. It's going to be very exciting. We'll have a tiebreak between Wesley So, Fabiano, Caruana, and Sam Sevian. James, who is your favorite for today?
You know what? Well, first, let's take a look at this cross table and actually kind of see where they're at. 6.5 for those boys up there. Now, I think, Fabi, I am rooting for Fabi, but Wesley So is definitely a favorite. Definitely a favorite due to he's just the speed monster, things like that. Of course, Fabiano has been able to work on the rapid a little bit, but definitely Wesley has that experience there, I think, a little bit more. What about you?
Yeah, no, I think traditionally Fabi has not been known as someone who's very good in rapid and blitz, but he's definitely been working on that. But that being said, Fabiano had a very long game yesterday, very up and down, so that might have taken a lot of energy out of him. So my favorite is going to be Wesley So. I think he's going to win the championship today.
Nice. Yeah, definitely a favorite for me too, as well as Wesley. And nobody's talking about Sam, right? It's kind of funny. Sam's there, but nobody's talking about him. So what an upset that would be if Sam's able to just do what he came to do. I showed up, I did my job, and coming out U.S. champion. Now he has a very big task in front of him, but not to say that he can't do that at all. So yeah, but it's pretty nice. We also had the women's as well, where you see Carissa Yip. A great job to her, finishing with 8.5 out of 11, and a monster score there. 18 years old, U.S. women's champion, and more to come from her. It's very good. What do you think?
Yeah, amazing performance by Carissa, winning the championship with a round to spare, and I'm sure this is going to be the first championship of many to come. So amazing job by her.
Absolutely, amazing job by her. And really quickly, actually, we can go over kind of the tiebreak format of what we have today. Bach, can you explain to the chat and everyone that wants to know about the time controls in the format today?
All right, so bear with me, but it's going to be a round robin. So everyone plays everyone. Wesley So will start off against Fabiano, but it's going to be 10-minute games with a 2-second delay. And if no clear winner is produced, the remaining players shall go on with a blitz. And if there will be 3 players, it will be a round robin. But if there will be 2 players, then they will play a 2-game match. And if the contest is still undecided, the match will be decided by Armageddon games.
Yeah, that's a very, very detailed, very, very interesting format. A lot going on there, guys. So we're going to take a short break and come back with the game. So, guys, don't go anywhere. It's the tie breaks. We'll be right back. right, guys, before we get started, hey, Winter Stays is coming up on November 4th. This monthly event pits content creators of different chess levels head to head for their portion of a $3,000 event prize. Nemo and Dina Belankaya will make their debut in the Masters section. Samay Reyna will look for his second Winter Stays win against streamer Hannah Sace, and Chris Ramsey takes on Tournament Art 2 champion Giguk. You guys do not want to miss this. All right, Bach. Game's about to start, man. I'm excited. I know the chat's excited. What you think we're going to see here?
Yeah, it's going to be fire. We'll see Wesley So start off against Fabiano Caruana. And I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see who will whose schedule is more favorable, because we know that as I said, Fabiano will start against Wesley So, then we'll have Sevian against Fabiano, and then Wesley So against Sam Sevian. So Wesley So has a little break in between. And what do you think? Do you think that's going to favor him? He gets a little rest, or maybe Fabiano or Sam Sevian because they get to go with the flow?
You know what? Are they so Wesley's the only one getting a break?
Right. Yeah.
Wesley got it.
First and the third game,
yeah. He has a huge chance if he has a break. Because and the reason for that is because, you know, I remember when I was playing Levy Rosman in the little I am not a GMSP chess championship. Any break we had, I was checking the engine. I was checking the line. I'm talking. I mean, you know, you don't even go get water or use the bathroom because you don't even care. You just look. I need to know, what do I need to do in these situations? I didn't like that. Blah blah blah. How do we get back? Right. So any break that you have, I'm hammering the engine and making sure. Oh, he didn't see this. Oh, what's that? Oh, what's this? And come back with fire, especially if they're going to play the same thing or something similar to it. We already have an upper hand, especially in this fast time control. If Wesley gets that break and he uses it correctly, he could have a huge advantage, I think.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right there. And I think most of all, it really depends on this first game between Fabiano and Wesley. I think whoever is going to win that game, I think has a huge chance of winning the championship. But I think if it ends in a draw, that's going to favor Wesley, because then he will have the white piece against Sevian, try to strike. But actually, we should not forget, we should not count out Sam Sevian at all. I think he's very good in the shorter time controls. What do you think his chances are for today?
You know, Sam, this is going to be a test of everything that's in him. Everything that's in him, everything. I mean, if I was him, I probably, you know, got 6 hours of sleep or less last night, because all I was doing was prepping against everything they might play, staying the sharpest, hitting all my books, you know, talking to the coaches, running a mile or 5, right? I'm getting in the best shape of my life overnight, right? And of course, as we do, have C4, the English. The English.
And knight f6 by Wesley on the board, knight c3, e5, and knight f3. The players are playing very fast. As we know, they have 10 minutes, but with only a 2-second delay. So if they run out of time, that is going to cost them.
Yeah, this is actually, wait, let me see that move order again, because yours moved up so much faster. You named some moves, and I'm like, bro, I only see C4. Now it's here. Okay. Yeah, it's updated now. Yeah, they going so fast. It's like updating a second later. They just flying through the moves right now.
Exactly. So we
and
see
it's no increment. It's delayed. That's the difference. Used to increment these days.
No, definitely. Yeah, it's sort of an American tradition to play with delay. And yeah, I was just saying earlier, if you play with delay, you like if you have if you're up a queen, you'll win the game, right? Because you cannot flag. But you cannot accumulate time. So if the position is complicated, it is very likely that you'll make a mistake. Like you'll be under a lot of pressure. So who do you think is going to handle the delay better?
That's a great question. Delay? Man, that's a tough answer there. Who's going to handle the delay better? I know Fabi thinks. Fabi really thinks. Wesley does too, but Fabi really likes to think. So, you know, I don't know. I think it might favor Wesley a little bit more, because if he goes into one of these long thinks, you know, and he come out on the other side messing up, or it ain't right, or he's inaccurate by a hair, it could hurt him. And then he goes into another thing, you know. So it's definitely difficult. I already like his position though. I think Fabi already has some pretty nice central control, obvious here, but
yeah, no, Fabi has a lot of space on the queen side and in the center. I think I thought we were going to see the move d3, d4 quickly, but Wesley So puts his rook on e8. So if d4 is played now, he can capture on d4. And if Fabiano recaptures with the pawn, which is what you want to do, now Wesley can take on e4. So nice move there by Wesley. What do you think Fabiano's going to do now? What do you think is
You know what? Weirdly enough, maybe this maneuver, bishop to d, because I do want to play d4. So bishop d1 to c2 takes 2 moves, but then I can get d4 in, and I don't see any way he can like capitalize on these 2 moves here. If he could immediately capitalize on my bishop d1 move, then probably not. But bishop d1, maybe to c2 and play d4. That's all I'm trying to go for anyway. Or yeah, I don't really see anything else. This is pawn wedge of pawns here. I can't do much else. Maybe just put the knight on d5. I could do that as well, but I'm really interested in this idea. He played rook e1 though.
Yeah, rook a1 from Fabiano and a5 by Wesley, trying to open up the a file, but Fabiano responds quickly with b5, keeping the a file closed. c6 by Wesley. Maybe Wesley's trying to break in the center with d6, d5. What do you think?
Absolutely. I think this is a nice break here. Maybe use the bishop as well. Eventually, bishop e6 will be some type of move. Maybe it could be hit with knight to g5. The boys here, they still have so much time. It feels like, you know, like they're not moving. They're moving very fast, which is good. They're prepared. They know what to do here. But now with this rook a to e1, you know, it's blocked on the file, which means you do have to move the bishop. So where is he going to move it? Maybe he is going to go for the bishop d1. You can also go bishop a4 in many cases now and put some pressure on that c pawn, or even bishop to b3 and try to play c5 at the right moment, trying to use the f file as well. There it is, bishop d1 from the big fellow.
Yeah, I like bishop d1 from Fabiano, but we see Wesley has a small time advantage. He's up like 30 seconds on the clock. Once again, it doesn't really matter too much just yet, but if Fabiano gets into time pressure, that's going to be very unpleasant. But I think he has a slightly better position. He has a lot of space, and I don't really see a plan for black.
That's right.
h6 by Wesley. What do you think Fabiano's going to do now?
You know what? We just moved the bishop, so now it's all about well, can we capitalize on the last move? We can't. What's my worst place piece? The bishop on d1. Moving his bishop to b3 or a4. But I just don't like that he could just play bishop d7. Not that it's a problem, but I really didn't want that. So maybe bishop c2. He played d4.
d4.
Oh, he can play d4. He just plays it. Wow, because it's defended
d4.
now.
Yeah, d4 by Fabiano, expanding in the center. And actually, I like this move that Wesley just played h6. I think it's a very practical move. It always comes in handy. Make sure you can never get back rank checkmated. And now Wesley has a lot of options. Will he trade on b5 perhaps? Maybe play bishop e6, take the pawn on c4. But we see queen e7 by Wesley. I think Wesley is just sort of trying to keep the position and really leave it up to Fabi to do anything. What do you think Fabi's strategy should be now?
That's a great question here. After that, more of the Kramnik style, saying, hey, you know, the hardest position to play is ones where you have to sit and do nothing. And it feels like that and improve here, because after I don't have any real targets yet, I just have to improve my pieces. Maybe playing a4, trying to close down the file. Maybe play bishop to b3 as a move, even h3, which does stop any knight g4 stuff, or bishop g4. But I mean, really, it's a waiting game from here now, and trying to make sure my pieces can get better. If I can get a knight to f5, that'd be great. So maybe a queen f2 in the air. But yeah, and there's also a d5 attacking a3, weirdly enough. So he got the bishop off the back rank, though.
Yeah, I think the one thing Wesley got going for him here is that a lot of White's pawns are on the light squares. So it's still very far, but in a potential endgame, those pawns could all get weak. But it's not so easy yet for Wesley to take advantage of that right now. I expect him to continue developing with bishop d7 or bishop e6, targeting one of the pawns. Bishop d7 on the board. And yeah, I think the position is around even. I like that Wesley keeps that half a minute time advantage. I think that could come in handy later.
Absolutely, especially they haven't used a lot of time at all here, flying through the moves. Pretty solid position, lots of tension going on. And of course, grandmasters say, right, keeping the tension is the way to go. To take is a mistake in many cases. So maybe actually I'm liking a rook to d1, or maybe rook b1 and then move the f rook to d1. He plays d5, closing it up. Wow, I'm not a fan.
I'm not really a fan of that, because like if Wesley takes now on, let's say, b5 and after he captures, then puts rook on c8, I think e4 is always going to be a target. I think b5 is always going to be a target.
I mean, the c file is open. My rooks are on the wrong files. Like, I don't know what like, d5 was a collapse, I think.
Yeah,
look at the bishop. My bishop's terrible.
Yeah. And Wesley's got another nice plan here. If he, let's say, moves the rook to c8, he could then play knight at f8, move the bishop out of the way, knight at d7, and knight
then put
c5.
it on c5. Yikes. and we
then
just
his
sitting
position will
there.
be dominant. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So I think for white, we have to play bishop d3 and a knight a4, weirdly enough. Put the bishop d3, play knight a4 to try to control b6 and c5, put the rook on c1,
Right.
and just kind of chill. And all the plays on the c file.
Yeah.
Also, a5 is very loose. So if rook a to c8 would be problematic due to the a5 pawn being weak with queen takes a5.
Yeah, I think Wesley needs to move the e rook to c8. And after bishop d3, he played the move a4, stopping knight a4. But that pawn on a4 can be loose. I don't like that move at all.
That is a loose pawn.
Now Fabiano goes queen to b2. He wants to go queen b4 and target that pawn. I'm very surprised by a4, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. In fact, yeah, that's looking good by white. How do you actually, you have to reroute. So maybe a queen b8 to b6, putting the queen on b6, but then don't I have knight d2, c4? If queen d8, knight d2, and then queen b6, knight c4, and I'm feeling great there, actually, as Fabi.
Yeah.
The knight goes to c4 anyway. I mean, regardless, I just put this knight on c4, and I have a great outpost. b6 is problematic. d6 is weak. This could be strategically lost in a way for black. I mean, what do you think if I get this knight to c4?
Yeah, no, I think the pawn on a4 can very easily drop off. I think, the plan you mentioned, knight d2 to c4 is great. If white follows up by queen b4, he gets a lot of pressure on a pawn on d6. I think, knight d2. Wait, knight d2, maybe Wesley has queen a5, knight c4, rook takes c4. And if bishop takes c4, rook c8.
What about
how do you
rook
defend
c1?
the two pieces?
That's correct. That is pretty gross. So knight d2, queen a5, rook c1?
That's a nice move. Yeah, defending the pawn that way. But maybe then I have moves like knight g4 because you leave the pawn on e3 undefended.
You're just attacking me. Maybe I have to go rook e1. It's just annoying. Very annoying.
Exactly. Yeah.
Queen b4.
Queen b4 by Fabiano. Yep. I guess now maybe queen a5 over the queen trade or queen c7 hitting the knight. Lots of options here. We see queen a5 trade and rook c1. But this looks better for white. I mean, a4 is weak. If you get knight d2, knight c4, d6 is weak.
We can even double rook c2 and double the rooks. Yeah. Why not? Rook f2. Well, actually, you need to play h3. That knight g4 is very annoying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, once again, I was very surprised by this move a4 by Wesley. It just looked like it was just weakening his queen side.
Absolutely.
Weakens the a4 pawn, weakens the b4 square. But let's see what Fabiano is going to do now. He's in the think tank. To me, knight d2 looks very natural, but I'm sure he's calculating the variations with like rook to c5, trying to double up or hit the b5 pawn. So what do you think?
Yeah. Oh, he went knight a2 with the b4 action. Really strange. Knight a2. But I guess he's just saying, hey, you know what? Yeah, that a4 is going to be super weak. And if you defend it, then I get the c file. I think that was a brilliant move, actually. Brilliant. Knight a2. Wow. Thinking outside the box there. I take the c file, and if you try to come back, I'm going to hit a4.
Knight g4 by Wesley hitting the pawn on e3. And how do you defend that pawn? Because if you go rook fe1, I'm going to take on c1, and you don't really want to take with the knight. But if you take with the rook, then you leave e3 undefended. So this
is there some h3 in there? Maybe h3 eventually. Try to get king f2, but no, there's knight f4. I think weirdly enough.
Yeah, you also get knight f4 jumping in. Yeah.
It's kind of strange.
I feel like there should be a way for Wesley to get his knight out, by tactical means.
Right.
So let's see how Fabiano is going to defend the pawn on e3. Rook fe1 played. Guess you trade on c1 now if you're Wesley.
I'm taking with the rook, though. I actually can just take with the rook.
Maybe you take with the rook. Yeah, and if 93, rook c7.
Rook c7. Appreciate the file, my guy. Appreciate the file.
Yep.
And the 7th rank, by the way.
I think if you're Wesley, you still have to go for it. King f8 played. Okay,
king f8 played.
Yep. Let's see what Fabiano's going to do now.
5 minutes left, by the way, for both.
Yeah.
Round 5 is no extra time. No extra time, folks. Only delay. Only delay.
Yep.
So whatever they have is what they have. King f8 going to e7. I like it. I actually thought that was pretty nice there.
And you don't want to be stuck on a couple seconds on delay because you will only have that 1 or 2 seconds per move, and it's just very easy to make a blunder. So you definitely want to keep your time on the clock.
Absolutely. I think I might just go back to c3, weirdly enough, with the knight, play h3, kick the knight, then move the knight back to a2. He plays knight b4. Where am I going? What is this move?
Yeah, because like the knight on a2 could always go to c3 to hit the pawn on a4, and maybe Wesley can trade now on c1 and go rook to c8. But instead, he plays king e8, bringing his king closer to the action.
That's kind of strange. Why not king
h3
e7?
by Fabiano.
Absolutely.
So I guess
H3.
knight f6. Once again, you cannot take on c1 and on e3 because your knight will get trapped after king f2. So knight f6, played by Wesley. Knight d2 maybe now by Fabiano, trying to go to c4, hit the pawn
Yeah,
d6.
definitely. Look at those knights. Knights is doing a good job.
Knight d2 on the board.
Knight d2, and then maybe king e7.
Yep. But then knight b6 is also a move.
Oh, yeah. Sheesh.
Yeah.
See, how do you even stop that?
Yeah.
I can't even stop a knight from getting into b6.
Well, if you go knight c4 now, can I take on b5 or are there tactics?
Knight b6, you take, bishop takes d3, rook moves. I mean, I'm getting a4 back probably, or b7.
Wait. So yeah, knight c4, bishop takes b5, knight b6. You have to take on c1, white rook captures, and then you have to go rook a5. And it feels like there should be something there for white, like bishop takes b5, rook takes b5, rook c7
knight takes a4,
check,
or rook c7 check, king b8, take on b7.
Yeah, exactly. And the other knight is hopping into c6. I think that could get very dangerous for Wesley.
Very nasty.
So let's see if Fabiano will play the move knight to c4 or if he will go for some slow action.
Yeah, maybe some king f2.
Right.
Or, I mean, shoot, what else do I have besides king f2? Yeah, g4, f3. My knight on b4 looks ridiculous. So, yeah, it has to be a knight c4. He has to make this work. Exactly, but he's also getting, now he's down a minute on time, you know, and he's been keeping, Wesley's been keeping that edge.
Exactly.
Keeping that edge on time.
Yeah, so it's going to be curious to see if Fabiano, I mean, if he plays king f2, that would give Wesley some time to consolidate the position. Maybe the knight on g6 probably has to be rerouted because right now it has nowhere to go. The 4 square is restricted by the pawn on e3. So maybe knight f8, move the bishop and go knight at d7 is the plan he should be looking at.
Absolutely.
So it's
Bobby's getting low on time. Hey, Fabi, you have to move, my guy.
But he plays knight to c4.
He did go knight c4. Beautiful.
Yeah.
There it is.
So maybe take on b5 now. What's going to happen? I feel like if you cannot go bishop takes b5, black's position is very
gross.
Tough.
Absolutely gross. You can't move anything. You literally like zugged out. Like, what do you do? Rook b8? One of the rooks? And it had to be the 8th. Rook c5. Interesting. But it's the same idea. Just knight b6, same thing.
Yeah, knight b6 and...
What if he goes rook a5 first?
But then your rook on a5 is completely stuck. And knight b6 is on the board by Wesley.
And rook a5.
Rook a5, yeah.
Wow, this is strange.
But how do you defend the pawn on b5?
I was just thinking that, is there a knight c6 in there? I don't think I can get away with that.
Knight c6, but what if I take?
And then I take with the d pawn? I mean, I got a passer.
Is that working? Like
it, right? And you can't go, you know what? I think it works, bro. Because I can play c7 and you can't go rook a7, do the knight c8.
Oh, shoot. That'd be crazy if Fabiano goes for that.
Yeah, I think it's knight c6. So this is a nasty move. But I mean, if it's wrong, you lost. Like, that's the scary part. If it's wrong, you're absolutely lost. But knight c6 looks pretty nasty.
And Fabiano only has 2 minutes to figure it out. Can he find knight at c6? I mean, if he does not find it, like, how is he defending the pawn on b5?
That's right. So, there actually is no way. In fact, rook takes c5, and then you have to move the knight, and you're looking crazy. Yeah, you're going to have to go knight c6 or rook takes and then knight a2. That's gross. That's gross. Take on d7? I guess that's the only other way. Is knight takes d7, but then c5 is always going to be black's.
Oh, and Fabiano trades on c5 and goes knight c6 check.
Big fella. Sheesh, here we go. It's on the board. You
Wesley
better make
takes
your
it
move.
with the pawn.
Takes with the pawn.
Let's see. Does he take with the b or he takes with the b pawn?
He took with the b pawn.
But now Wesley's bishop has nowhere to go because if you go to e8, I get c7, and you can't really stop me from queening. Because also, if you go bishop d7 back, there's always d6, and if you take it with your king, there's knight c4 check with a fork on your king and your rook.
Forking everything. Sheesh.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
So lots of nasty tactics by Fabiano, but he only has 1.5 minutes on the clock against Wesley's 3 minutes and 50 seconds. So
I think he has enough time though, and he's also thinking on Wesley's time now because this is sort of clear of not clear as day, but black only has a few moves. right?
Yep.
So I mean, I can even take my piece back. I got rook c1 coming in. So if he's not moving the bishop, I'm gonna immediately take and find out what to do. But he's trying to figure out what would Wesley do, probably like a king d8 or I don't know, knight f8. Like, what do you even play here as Wesley? Like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, they're definitely about to get on equal time.
Yeah. No, this could be huge. If Fabiano wins this game, I think that would be a huge step towards the US Championship. But it's not over yet. He has that 1.5 minutes against Fabiano's 3 minutes. Right. The bishop is under attack. It doesn't really have a good square to go to. Right? Maybe it has to give itself up for the pawn on c6, but then the pawn on c6 is still very, very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
And remember, there's always those forks. Like if you go king d6, you're walking to knight c4, so you can't do that.
Yikes. Very careful.
So Wesley taking a thing now. How can he make it as difficult as possible for Fabiano? What do you think he should go for?
That's a great question. Maybe knight f8. I mean, I don't know. The reason for it is because can he still just play d6 anyway? Oh my goodness. If knight f8, I could just go d6 one move, and then the pawn's looking gross. Yeah, I can't allow that. I can't allow that, bro. So what if maybe just move the king out the way?
Right. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, just sidestep him. King d8, because if d6 happens, that could be GG. And what happened here? Oh, he took on c6.
Traded and played a king d8. Okay, good move by Wesley, stopping the pawn. Maybe a rook b1 now for Fabi, putting the rook on the open file. But let's say we go rook b1. What do you do after king c7?
King c7, right.
How do you defend the pawn?
That's kind of annoying. Uh-oh, maybe bishop c4 then?
And he played knight d5.
Oh, that was
Wesley
fast.
traded and played knight e7. Trying to stop the pawns. Oh, and Wesley has a very nice plan now. If Fabiano goes e4, defending the pawns, which is what he played, he can go knight to c8, and the knight is holding together the entire queen side.
That's gross. Knight c8, disgusting. And he does it. And he puts
b1
the knight on
Fabi,
d6,
knight
rook to b1.
You can still go rook b8, but king c7, like, what are you really doing with the rook? And in the meantime, Black goes c4 and creates his own counterplay on the queen side.
Oh, this is nuts. And Fabi could lose. And he's under
Fabiano,
a minute.
Oh, he has no time. Fabiano
no time, my guy. King f2.
49 seconds on the clock.
c4, I have to go bishop c2.
C4, but then there's f5. f5 now by Wesley. If you take, there's rook takes d5.
Oh my goodness. What, this just collapsed. Literally collapsed. The speed, right? Fabi always loves to go for the accuracy. And when they always say Fabiano is one of the greatest calculators ever. Right, as he was able to go take Magnus 12 games in classical and not lose one of them. But when he went to the fast time control,
F5 is on the board by Wesley.
Yep, it's a wrap. Oh, F5.
Will we see Wesley winning this first game? That'd be huge, because if Wesley wins, then if likely a draw against Sevian will be enough for him to clinch the championship. So Fabiano now under a lot of pressure. He's also down on the clock. How is he going to try to hang on here? 30 seconds for Fabiano.
Maybe just put the king up on f3. I mean, shoot, I'm in trouble here. Maybe rook b8, go the back doorway. Rook b8 to g8.
But the knight on d6 is so nasty. It's holding together the entire position for Black. King e3 on the board by Fabiano.
No time. 15 seconds. It's a wrap. I'm calling it. You got delay, and you got 10 seconds.
Yeah.
This is not increment.
F takes c4, bishop takes c3 by Wesley, pushing the pawn up the board.
Oh man, Big West with the big flex. Oh man,
how's Fabiano gonna try to hang on here? Can you go king d3?
Bro,
try to
he ain't got no time. Is he flagging? It's not even updating on my
bishop
side.
c2 on the board with 1 second. Fabiano has 1 second, only delay.
Oh yeah.
Rook takes f4 and he flagged.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Oh my god.
Sheesh.
And Wesley with a huge win.
Big West with the big flex, the man work thing. The man work thing. Unbelievable.
I think that's gonna be it. Like I think this is pretty much over for Fabiano. He would have to beat Sevian and then hope that Sevian beats Wesley. But if that game between Sevian and Caruana ends in a draw, Wesley has enough with a draw, with a white piece against Sam Sevian.
Wow.
So I think Wesley's going to clinch another US championship here.
Another one, yeah. And it's tough, man. When it goes to tie breaks, I mean, Fabi has gotten better, but it's still rough for him when it comes to the faster time controls.
Yeah. Damn. Amazing stuff. Yeah.
Well,
Fabiano played a good game, but he got too low on the clock, and that cost him there.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to remember, yes, accuracy is important, but you also
Yeah.
you got to use the time as a piece. Your time is just as important as the moves on the board.
Yeah, and the delay is so unpleasant because you'll see 1 second on your clock, but you don't know when it starts ticking.
Right.
And the moment it starts ticking, you lose.
That's right.
So you just basically have to move right away. But then you basically have no time to think at all.
And you blunder immediately.
Yeah.
Oh
So
man.
Wesley wins the first game. Huge win for him, beating his main rival, I would say, Fabiano Caruana, with the black pieces.
Absolutely. And now we have another game coming up. I think we take a quick break for that one. So guys, stick around. We'll be right back with the next game. This is nuts. I hope you guys enjoy it. Know you're enjoying it, but we'll be right back after this.
Chess Championship. The champion, Magnus Carlsen. The challenger, Jan Nepomniachtchi. Watch the only Twitch broadcast with live video from Dubai on Chess.com/TV. Your home for the World Chess Championship.
Guys, you see it up there on the screen. You know what's happening next month. You better take the whole month off work. Don't do that, okay? But Chess.com is your exclusive Twitch home for the video feeds for this year's World Chess Championship. Join us for the best coverage around as we watch this year's players, the defending champion, Magnus Carlsen, and the challenger, Jan Nepomniachtchi, battle for the title. The World Chess Championships coming in November to Chess.com, guys. So hopefully you're excited for that. I know we all are. And the game has started. Speaking of that, Sam and Fabi are at it.
Yep. Yeah, I think for both players, a must-win game. Because if you're Sevian, you want to win this game and don't bank on the fact that you're going to win with black against Wesley So. But if you're Fabiano, you also have to win this game and hope then that Sevian beats Wesley So in the final game to go on to a blitz tiebreak. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's going to be very difficult, of course, because Wesley is an absolute beast here. But the one thing you do have to always remember is not playing the person. Well, in the way Gary says, psychology-wise, you do play the person, but you have to play the board. Just what's on the board, what's happening. Just, you know, there's a lot of pressure, a lot to think about. Like, hey, this is for the U.S. champs, right? So there's a lot of pressure there, but, you know, you have to try to really get over that. Easier said than done.
Yeah, and we see here a bishop's opening by Sam Sevian. Eventually, there's going to be a trade on c4, and then white has some sort of clamp in the center. For black, it's almost impossible to ever get in the move d5. He has the two bishops, but since the position is fairly close, it's not that easy to make use of those bishops.
Absolutely, and after this bishop e6 move, maybe b3 or queen to e2, which are moves I've seen. I've also seen queen d3. I've experimented a little bit with the bishop's opening, but not in this manner that Sam has. A little bit different, especially with the knight on g3 already. Usually the knight stays on e2, and then you play a quick f4 many times, and just actually steamrolling on the king side. But with the knight here, it makes it a little bit different. Maybe he's going for bishop g5 and knight h5. The bishop g5 would be answered with h6 immediately. So you have to be careful here. I mean, it's just still some slow play. You can even castle queenside in many cases in these bishop openings.
Yeah, and queen e3 is on the board, castled by Fabiano. I think if you're Fabiano, you're not too unhappy about the opening. On the other hand, it's very difficult for black to ever do anything, and he has to win this game. And if you're Sevian, I mean, it's a slow game. You can maneuver around. So I guess, you know, both players kind of be too unhappy about the opening.
Absolutely. Two bishops for black, but a closed position. We have the knights, right? So you always want to play to the pieces that you have. Play to the minor pieces that you have. I have knights. I want to keep it closed. Fabi's like, I have bishops. Let's open this thing up. So
and I was just wondering. So Fabi just played the move a5. Maybe he could have also considered c6 and then followed up by d6 to d5.
That's scary. Center. Yeah, that's very annoying. It may not be a possibility anymore with the rook to d1 action. h6 stopping bishop to g5. But I'm thinking maybe tuck the king and roll, meaning f4. King h1 or h2. It does open the game up, but hey, this is bishop's opening for you. h6 stopping bishop g5.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what kind of plan both players are gonna come up with. Because I mean, if you're Sevian, are you gonna play f4 that also weakens your position? Instead, he plays the move bishop e3, offering the trade of bishops.
Right.
I guess
trading off the bishop there.
Right. Because if you're Fabiano, okay, he goes knight to d7. He wants to trade under his terms. And yeah, time is approximately even. Both players have around 8.5 minutes. So I think it's really anyone's game.
Absolutely. I mean, there's like no advantage for either side. Knight b5. Wow. That was nice. That's a very strong move. Yeah. I mean, it's just annoying. The knight is crossed into black's territory and is stopping c6.
Yeah, annoying move definitely there by Sevian. You cannot play c6 with black because then white takes on d6. But you know what is wrong with a move like rook to c8, guarding the pawn on c7 that way prematurely?
And then playing it. Yeah, and that's the problem with knight b5. Like, it just looks great, but what is it actually doing besides just being there? Yeah, it's not doing anything there. But it stops c6, which means, I mean, I guess we okay. White now has f4, rook d1, maybe still equal. Nothing for either side.
Yeah, and I guess if you're Fabiano, you want to play c6 eventually, although that could make the pawn on d6 a bit weak later on. And yeah, I wonder, like, Fabiano just came off that tough loss against Wesley. Do you think he had enough time to, you know, shake that off, get ready for this game, or he might still be taken aback a little bit by that loss?
I think I think he definitely are still shaking up from the last loss. Wasn't that much time in between. It was, but it felt like it went by so fast. So and now he knows that he's under a lot of pressure. I have to win this game. Like, he's not even like, if you have to think about it, I lost to Wesley. I have to win this game. Are you actually even thinking about the game, right? With all these things going on. So it is tough. And the psych part you have to get under control.
And even if he wins this game, that might not be enough. Wesley then only needs a draw in the last round to clinch his championship.
Right.
So that's definitely an unpleasant feeling, knowing that it's out of your control right now.
That's tough. That is tough. Understanding that. Yeah. So it's a difficult situation. This is like no advantage for either side right now. And trying to create things it's the hardest thing to do in rapid time controls like this without taking big risks that could actually backfire.
But yeah, I think the good thing for both players is that both of them have to win. So it's likely that either player will do something at some point, right? And that will open up the position and also giving chances to the other player.
It's all about who and when and where, right? Well, maybe 92 and f4. I like this 92 idea, f4, but is there a g5 in there? Then maybe I just go back to g3.
Right, yeah. And yeah, but if you go f4, that also makes e4 a bit weak. Yeah. Sevian goes a4. I mean, I feel like this is getting so locked up already.
Yeah, this could be a draw, to be honest. Which is, what does a draw do, actually? Draw doesn't do anything.
If the players draw, that sort of eliminates Fabiano. Sevian then would have to beat Wesley So with the black pieces.
Just to make it a tie break.
So both players have to win.
That's crazy. Must-win situation. In a game like this, nothing going on. And a game like this, wow. Yeah. And you have to win.
Yeah, because once again, a draw eliminates Fabiano. And if Sam draws, he has to beat Wesley So with black, which is, very tough. Wesley might just trade everything
off. Right.
Yeah. So I think definitely a must-win game for both players. And if you're Wesley, you're probably happy seeing this game proceed very slowly. But don't forget, this is a rapid game with delay. So the time is a big factor. I think stuff is going to happen regardless.
Yeah, in fact, Fabi is actually doing much better on time in this game, but the position is not what we're wanting in a must-win situation. This is not the position we're looking for. In fact, well, he actually couldn't have done that. Maybe, well, I don't know if he's even experimented with the modern before, but having something like a modern defense, like when he played the King's Indian and won that game with Linderman, that was a great example of, I need to win, go King's Indian. He did it. He was able to sacrifice the exchange and get the win against Linderman. Powerful. Here we going bishop game, and it's very boring, to say the least, especially in a must-win situation. No risk for either side so far.
Exactly. So he goes queen g5, offering a queen trade. He's doing much better on the clock now. He's up a minute. And for those of you who are wondering what delay is, it means that, let's say there's a 2-second delay. It will your clock will only start ticking after those 2 seconds. So once again, you cannot necessarily get flagged if you're up a queen, but still, if you're under a lot of pressure, which is what we saw with Fabiano, you can lose on time because there's just so little time to think.
That's right. 2-second delay. Usually I remember growing up with the 5-second delay. So 2-second delay is definitely no time at all. I mean, by the time you think about, by the time you reach out to grab the piece, your clock's running. Yeah, your clock's running. So definitely difficult in this situation. Yeah. Queen to g5, and Sam's in the think tank now, down 2 minutes on time.
I think Fabiano is doing a great job in this game. I think we'll likely see queen trade, after which the endgame should be quite pleasant for black, because then he can try to prepare, g6, f5, expanding on the king side. If Sevian ever goes knight at d5, he can just go knight at e6, defending the pawn on c7. And it's all looking pretty pleasant for Fabiano, I would say.
I think so too as well. Maybe you'll see something like queen takes g5. We trade, you bring the knight back to e2, play g4, and put the knight back on g3. If
Right,
possible, but then there's g6 f5 anyway.
Exactly,
Oh, man.
yeah.
That's ugly.
And if you're Sevian, you're also not that thrilled to lock the position up and just sit, right? Because if you draw, then you have to win Wesley with the black.
So best defense is offense. So can I do knight d5? Just hit the c7 pawn, but then he just defends it, I guess.
Right, I guess 96 or maybe trade, because then you would probably have to take with the knight. You don't really want to double your pawns.
That's true, but I was actually going to do that. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Just double the pawns. Like, make it, I have to imbalance this game somehow.
Yeah. And as we speak, Sam Sevian only has 4 minutes on the clock against Fabiano, 7 minutes. That's definitely not a good time situation for him. Knight d5 on the board, hitting the pawn on c7. What do you think, rook c8 or 96?
I think that 96 move is actually pretty powerful. E4 is not, we can't deal with, like, we can't do anything with E4 anymore. 96 is really nice with knight f4 actions or intentions, and also knight to d4, where that knight's going to be nasty on d4 as well.
Yeah.
We play rook c8.
On the other hand, the knight on c5 can put pressure on the pawn on e4 if f5 comes through. So let's see. Fabiano could play g6 right away, but that would allow Sevian to go knight f6 and trade off the bishop. So he could also go f6 first if he does not want to allow that trade.
We actually have a bishop e6 here from Fabi.
Okay, bishop e6 by Fabiano. I guess Sevian, maybe Sevian can go like knight e2, knight c3, knight b5, and force a trade on the d5 square.
That's a great plan. And again, that f5 is super annoying. Knight e2, I mean, what if he just goes f5 immediately?
But then if you take the pawn on g5 is isolated. So he goes knight f5. He wants knight e7. Right.
And playing g4 as well. Very sweet.
Exactly.
Locking down g5.
Yeah. So let's see how Fabiano is going to deal with that. Yeah, I think g6, knight f e7 is unpleasant because you have to move the rook.
And there's even like an h4 in there, and taking and using the h file.
Yeah, right. So Sam Sevian has 3.5 minutes against 6 minutes and like 20 seconds for Fabiano. Let's see what Fabiano is going to come up with here.
Takes on d5.
Takes on d5. Surprising decision. I guess c takes is the way to go for Sam. And I guess then Fabiano wants to get in g6 and f5 immediately. Yeah,
and then you got to kick that knight in f5 immediately. Yeah, that's really good.
I think this looks great for Fabiano. He has the clock under control. He has all the breaks. He can go for g6, f5. He also has another break, maybe rook b8 and b5, trying to take advantage of the fact that the knight on c5 is so well placed over there.
And everything else is over here.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, he has all the play, and Sam is getting very low on time here.
Yeah,
very low.
I think so. The rook. Okay. I think g6, regardless of Fabiano, followed by f5 is the way to go.
G6, 93, f5.
F5, and
is
you would have to.
Oh shoot, I can't. Yeah, I have to do that, huh? Wow.
And here's the unpleasant thing for Sam. As you said, if you go 93 after f5, you have to trade on f5, and Fabiano gets a majority in the center. And he traded and went rook to d2, so he wants to put the knight on d5, so the rook c8 is stuck defending that pawn over there.
Maybe there's a g4 too as well, and then put the knight on f5. But he might, I mean, with sacking now, sacking probably isn't the greatest.
So yeah, everything looks great for Fabiano. He's up like 3 minutes on the clock. But the one thing is, like, how is he gonna make progress? Right?
Yeah.
Like, let's say Sevian just sits here with the knight on d5. Let's say goes king f2. Maybe puts the rook in the d file or something. What is Fabiano gonna do? What do you think his plan should be?
That's a great question. I can't make the pass pawn. I can make the pass pawn, but it's not the pass pawn we're looking for. Like, it's easily stopped, which is a problematic. Which means this looking drawish actually after 95. I guess he does get the e4 break in, but again, like, what happens after that? I take it and then I have an f3 on lock. I think I'm holding just by a hair here, and now you can't even play e4 right now.
Exactly, and we see g4, f4, knight d5 on the board, but this makes the pawn on h3 backwards. Fabiano can now go rook h7, rook h8, and Sevian would be forced to go like rook h1, which looks extremely passive.
Right.
So or Sam even king with his back against the wall.
That's true. Back against the wall here. And time.
Yep.
Time's very
Yep.
low for him. But easy, I think easy moves, which makes it a little bit
Yep.
easier for him. And he has to play like King G2 and Rook H1 to defend
Yep.
H3 if he's gonna, keep the H3 pawn. But
Exactly.
not an easy position. We don't want to really be defensive like this, but we're
Right.
forced to in a way. We can't even
Yeah.
move anything. Like I can't play B4. C3 is not the knight's dominating
Nope.
over here. And then I'm
Yep.
going to have to use some of my resources, the rook and the king over here to defend H3, which may open up the E4 square.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you're Fabiano here, you want to keep up the pressure, just push Sevian lower and lower on the clock, because then he's like either going to flag or going to blunder. So that
Right.
should be his strategy going forward here.
Rook E8.
Rook E8
E4.
on the board, hinting at an
Rook
E4
E2.
break, and Sam jumps back to C3. Rook H8, King G2. Once again, it looks great, but how exactly are you going to break through?
Especially with this knight on C3 now. Yeah, this could be, they could shuffle.
Right.
They could shuffle at this point. I can't play
And-
C6 as black. I don't have any breaks that I could do. Like he has all my breaks on lock now.
Yeah.
Rook H7, I play Rook H1, and like you can't break, and we literally shuffle. Unbelievable. This could be a draw here, and Fabio would be out.
And Sam is doing a good job of keeping up his clock. Like he knows that he's not getting time back. So he needs to move fast and at least not get lower on the clock. We see 97, 95 by Sam. I wonder where he wants to go with that knight. Maybe Fabiano could, here's a plan for Fabiano. Fabiano could go, let's say knight f6.
Okay.
And then he wants to go rook h7. And after rook h1, there might be e4. And if you take with the pawn, there's knight takes g4.
Oh my goodness. My goodness. So I have to take with the knight then.
Yeah, so Sam was clever to move the knight back to c3, so he can always capture with the knight there. So rook h7, rook h1 is on the board, king f7. Maybe Fabiano is now looking at king to e6 and c6 and d5, expanding that way in the center.
Yeah, and just fighting and pushing. Yeah, he's pushing.
Yeah.
That is a way to push. Wow, that is insane. And you can't even move the rook. Uh-oh, he's in trouble. He's in trouble.
Yeah,
and that happened
Fabiano's
actually.
playing a great
it's
game.
there. C6 and D5 can now be played. He stopped it a little bit. Wow, he's putting it. Is he walking the king up to just coming at him like that?
King C5
you ain't gonna
looks
get that
like
far.
a move. I think it is. I mean, what are you gonna do?
That's true. Is there any kind of tricks here? Nothing scary. I can't mate.
No.
Obviously, nothing.
Because once again, if like after king C5, if you go knight B5, E4. And if you take that, then there's knight.
Look at the king. He's just walking the king into the house here.
Yeah.
King B4.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to play rook B3 and I'm just gonna chill. Maybe he goes king A3. You can't get it. If you play king A3.
Well, white is completely stuck, but
no, you can't.
It looks insane.
If his king's on A3, I mean, wow. I'm going home. I'm gonna flip the DDT board. If you put your king on A3.
But once again, Sam is doing a very good job. He's keeping up his clock. When we talked about the time situation earlier, Fabiano had 5 minutes and Sam had like 2.5 minutes. And now he has 2 minutes against Fabiano, so like 3. So I think Sam is doing a great job on the clock.
Right. Yeah, great job on the clock here. Now rebuild, regroup, E4. And now he's saying, if you trade too much, my king is going to come in here and get crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, very nice. Rook to D2, pushing. Probably not ready. There's like
if you go E4 now, then you take on rook D5, and that's going to backfire because the pawn on G5 falls.
Right.
So maybe this move king B4. I mean, what are you going to do?
You know what? What if I try like a knight B5 and C3 and try to box you in? Okay, he plays C6, so that's pretty good. So now I can't play rook D5 anymore.
Yeah.
Man, this is coming. Wow. Yeah, Fabi's going to win, I think. I think Fabi's going to win this.
Rook D1 on the board by Sam.
Just play D5 and we live?
Can he get away with E4 or
E4?
They're going to backfire.
That is a scary move, but it looks like it works. I think through the calculation, E4
2 minutes, 15 seconds for Fabiano. 1
and a minute 46.
For Sam. You could prepare with rook E6, but E4 right away. Like, white's going to take on D6. Yeah.
Definitely interesting.
So with the move C6, he blocked off any potential D5 tricks. And E4 is on the board. Rook takes D6 by Sam right away.
I cannot take on F3.
He takes F3.
I have to go King F1.
King of 1. King F2 play by Sam.
King F2? Okay. What is it? A check? You could actually...
4? Or what do you do?
Rookie 2 anyway. Oh my goodness.
Rookie 2.
And it snaps
rookie
and pawn
2.
takes.
Oh, and then I hit the
94.
rook on d1 and 94.
Yep.
Rookie 2 is
Gross. Sheesh,
damn,
big
because you
fella.
cannot take an f3 because of rookie 3 check, and he plays it. Rookie 2 is on the
Oh,
board.
get the man off the board. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Hopefully you did your puzzle rest today, big
rook
fella.
takes c2, but f takes
Did
c2 is
he?
game.
F takes
takes
c2,
c2.
GG. That's
F
it.
takes c2 is game. That's just
GG.
over.
If you move the rook, I check you, and then we can start a new one, big fella.
I mean,
Actually, I can
what
even
is-
just take the rook, in fact.
What does Sam miss? Like f takes c2, I think you just resign.
Yeah, you
There's
just
just no
resign.
move.
There's no move.
Yeah.
I'm queening, or you give me the
C2.
rook. Your choice.
But Fabi is thinking, and he goes for the f takes c2 is on the board. Sam, actually, after rook e1, there's also king takes d6. I think it's just over.
Yeah, it's
Rook takes
king
f6,
d6.
e takes d1. What do you do?
Oh
I
my
think
goodness.
it's just over.
It's a
Like
wrap, sir.
Fabiano is gonna
I
win.
mean,
the
you know
rook,
what?
and it's
And
just
what's
over.
even better is from king takes d6 is 94 is even better. I
Yeah.
can take and then trade the rooks
Right.
immediately. Everything's winning. Wow. Fabi would have win a must-win situation.
Amazing game by Fabiano. He did extremely well. He just slowly built up the pressure, and at the end, it was too much for Sam Sevian. Yeah, amazing game by Fabiano.
Yeah, he
But
just pressured
it's
him.
it's not in the books yet. Maybe, we still have to wait for resignation. Sam takes on c6, king takes, and rook e1 on the board. But I think both players know it's over.
Absolutely.
Like rook
He can't move anything.
e3 looks extremely strong now.
Rook e3 is beautiful, followed by 94.
94, yeah.
And just chill it
like
and literally just move
all of
anything.
White's pawns are under control. You can never create a passer.
Rook
on the
e1
king
always
side,
answer
on
with
the-
e1.
Exactly. Yeah.
Queening.
So Fabiano is just now taking his time, making sure what is the most precise way to finish off the game. Goes rook to e3. Rook takes c2 by Sam. 94 check. Is all on the board. King e1. But I think now you just king c5. Yeah, king c5 very clean.
Very
After
clean.
trades and king e2, there's king d4, and it's all over.
And that's a wrap. King c5,
Yeah.
and it's all over, right? Wow. Fabiano
Yeah.
with
So
a very clean win.
Fabiano wins a must-win game, and now Sam Sevian is in a must-win game. He has to beat Wesley So with the black pieces to force a blitz tiebreak. That'd be
Right.
insane.
That'd be insane.
But do you think he has a chance against Wesley So with the black pieces?
I don't think so. With the black pieces
I don't
too.
think so.
Wesley
No.
definitely, I mean, he could make anything happen. I can
Yeah.
control the game, white pieces. We go into this opening and then
Yeah.
I can make an easy draw somewhere in there if I need it.
Exactly. Wesley So is super strong, and he knows how to play for a draw. He knows like the solid variations, how to trade everything off. So, I mean, but Sam has to try. This is his chance. He has to try to come back.
Jeez. I mean, he has to try to come back. That's correct. Right. We had a little bit left, but we're going to take a quick break, guys. I mean, and we're coming right back with this action just for y'all. Let's get to it. before we get back, guys, we got to talk about this Blitz coin. You can see Daniel right there. The Blitz coin Invitational starts October 27th and will feature 16 elite American players under the age of 25. Their prize, you guessed it, 1 Bitcoin. Don't miss out on seeing GM Daniel Naroditsky and others battling it out for the Blitz coin Invitational, sponsored by the Charlotte Chess Center. All right, guys, it's that time. The game is up. It's about to be game time. Bach, what do you think, bro?
Yeah, Sevian has to go for it. I mean, he cannot play no Berlins or anything like that. He has to switch it up with black. He has to win. So if Wesley goes e4, maybe a Sicilian or something like that. And if he goes d4, maybe something like the King's Indian. But Wesley probably is trying to, force a draw or trade everything off right away. So what do you think Sevian's going to play?
It's a good question. It depends on what Wesley plays, but if it's e4, I mean, you have to go like Sicilian, or even, modern's definitely difficult, but you have to do something, the most aggressive opening against everything he plays, no matter what it is. You have to play aggressive just to get this imbalance and go for it. Because if not, I mean, that's just a wrap. Fabi's hoping for the same, like, bro, please play something, bro. Play some, beat him.
Yeah. And for those of you who are wondering, if Sevian wins this game, then they will play another round robin, but this time a blitz round robin with 3 minutes plus a 2-second delay.
Right.
But first, Sevian would have to win this game with the black pieces. I think that's a very, very difficult task against a super solid Wesley So.
Absolutely. And games are going to be starting soon. And I mean, it's going to be, this is it, right? This is it. Wesley is a moment away, a game away from being this year's champion.
Yeah.
There we go. Modern
G6, the modern. He goes for it. Yeah. Let's see what Wesley's gonna do. C4 by Wesley, Bishop G7 by Sam.
Okay.
And now Wesley has a lot of options. Knight f3, D6 by Sam. Okay, so let's see what Wesley's gonna do. Knight C3 on the board. I guess, I mean, do you go Knight f6, but then you go into King's Indian? Wesley knows a lot of theory there. Yeah. And he knows the solid lines.
Different here.
Knight D7 by Sam on the board. I guess E4. But you could easily end up in a King's Indian here that is very favorable for Wesley.
That's exactly what it looks like too, especially with the D4 versions of it is a little bit difficult. The E4 modern is better than D4 modern. And the reason for it is because you can get very draw-like positions from trading a lot. Yeah. Doing a lot of trades, which I'm sure that's what he wants. But doing all these trades will not help actually Sam at all.
Exactly. And we see E4, E5, Bishop to 97 on the board. I think H4 is a move here, but Wesley keeps it solid. He just castles. Sam castles as well. And Rook E1. And so the thing is, like, Black is trying to avoid a theory here with the knights on D7 and E7. But what exactly do? You're not putting any pressure on White's center. So White is not forced to go D5 at all. If White does go D5, Black is very well prepared to go F5, but White doesn't have to. So what do you think? What do you think Sevian's going to do here?
He's actually played H6, which intends that he is about to go F5. So you literally just have to go for it and like, all right, Wesley, look, it is what it is. I'm going for it. I got to go F5. I got to go at you completely. Because other than that, H6 is just, it does stop G5, but we don't have any breaks, which you need. We have the C5 break and the F5 break. F5 seems like automatic, maybe B6 or C6 as well. Yeah,
H6 and Bishop F1 by Wesley. Let's see what he's going to do. Maybe C5 could be a move here, forcing Wesley to make a decision in the center. But I think if you're Wesley, you're never going to play D5. I think you're just going to play D takes C5, trying to keep it very dry. But even there, there's still a lot of pieces on the board. So, I think Sevian is doing a good job of trying to create a complicated game.
I think so too. Yeah, he's trying to keep it. Yeah, it's very complicated, right? F5, C6, B6. Even the A6, B5, Banco fashion, which is all these ideas here. But yeah, F5 is the most principled, and he plays it.
Right.
This is the way to go.
But how do you respond here to D takes E5?
Do I take with the knights?
But then if I take, you cannot take with the bishop, and you can take with the pawn. But once again, like that could lead to simplifications.
Strange. Yeah, that is kind of strange, actually.
So I think D takes E5 is the move that Wesley's going to choose here. Like I said, just trying to be very annoying.
D takes E5. Knight takes E5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to take with the knight. I gotta take with the knight, but then it does make trades. What's wrong with d takes e5?
Yeah, I guess d takes e5 is then the way to go.
Here it is. He takes it with the pawn. D takes e5 is there, guys, on the board.
But like black is not really achieving a whole lot on the king side. I mean, if maybe white can even play someone like b4 and c5, expanding there on the queen side, and the knights are kind of stuck on d7 and e7. I think this looks pretty pleasant for Wesley. The one
I like my f4 though. f4, g5, g4. King's Indian all day. Lock it up. G5, g4.
But since the center is open, it's a lot more difficult to really get that attack rolling. Right? Like in the King's Indian, where white is played d5, the center is close, so black has a lot more time. But b4 on the board, yeah, Wesley playing very well here.
Wesley is like, yo, I need this champ. I need it.
Yeah.
I need it. b4 on the board.
Wesley has 2 championships, if I'm not mistaken. He won in 2017 and in 2020, and we could be looking at his 3rd US championship right here.
Wow,
but it's not
back to back. 2020, 2021. Look at him.
Exactly. So yeah, what is Sevian gonna do here? How is he gonna try to complicate the game? I think this looks gross, to be honest.
Oh yeah, I don't like it. I think I would really. I'm like, hey, I don't have anything else. I'm just gonna play f4 and just go King's Indian style, and then try to put the queen on e8 and just like go attack him. Because other than that, I'm done for it. My knights haven't moved. My development is gross.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting down on time.
Like, let's say you get f4, you get g5, g4, but then what, right? Like,
oh yeah, then what?
It's very.
I'm still a ways away.
Attack rolling.
Yeah, and this wasn't a King's Indian. I need to get Rook f7 in, which is always going to be probably hit with some type of bishop c4s.
Yeah.
Rook f7, move the bishop, then play Rook g7. All King's Indian style, playing h5. That takes a lot of moves. It takes a whole lot of moves, and the knights are not ideally placed. There he is. He goes knight to c6 instead with b5.
Yep. Hitting the pawn on b4, but yeah, if Wesley goes b5, he would have to go knight d4. But I think all the complications should favor Wesley. He's very well developed. Everything is looking nice and solid. So I think this is great for a game where, a draw is enough.
Absolutely. And knight to d4. So now how do we handle this? Or bishop a3. He played bishop a3. Rook f7.
Wesley on the board. Rook f7. But let's say, maybe he just takes on f5. I think this already looks very, very tough for Sevian.
Rook f6. You play rook f7. Is there some c5 in here immediately?
Rook f7 by Sevian. Yeah. And c5, another very nice move by Wesley.
Immediately, right? Hitting bishop c4. All right, look at that. That was always there.
Pinning the rook.
Always there. Now it's with tempo. Huge. Yeah. Huge here.
So what can Sevian even do here?
Maybe moving knight f6 or knight f8. Knight f6,
knight f6, knight exactly, yeah. So
you have to play knight f8.
But if you go knight f8, what if I go pawn takes f5? Because then e5 starts hanging again.
And then g takes f5. Oh, e5 is hanging.
He takes on e4.
He takes on e4.
Okay. So now Wesley can do a couple things. He can recapture on e4 with a knight, but that would allow knight takes f3, and he would have to recapture with a pawn. Or he can take on d4 first and then take.
I was thinking that maybe take on d4 first.
But then if you go knight takes c4 afterwards, there's knight e5. So black is still hanging on.
Can I just go here right now? This is tricky.
Oh, and he takes on bishop c4. Wait, if you take on c3, there's bishop takes f7, king takes,
there it is.
And
oh my goodness.
Queen d5.
Yeah, or queen d5 immediately. But you're right. Well, I can't go queen d5 immediately, and then queen f8, c6. Oh, there's no mate. Yeah,
but there's queen f6. But if you take an f7, king takes, and queen d5, if you go to f8, there's c6 check.
Right.
You cannot go to the e file because of rook takes e4. And if you go to f6,
your king's on f6. Like think about that, right? Your king is on f6, guys. Think about that.
Yeah.
Is your king on f6? Yes, it is.
And I think after king f6, rook takes e4 is just over. Like there's no way to stop rook e6 or queen e6.
You can't even move the knight. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he goes knight e5, but now you just take an f7 and take an e4. You're up in exchange. I think this is it. Also, Wesley's up 2 minutes on the clock in exchange.
Two
I think he's just going to
bishops.
clinch it here. Yeah.
He has everything he needs, guys. This looks like it's looking rough. It's looking very rough for
Yeah.
the man Sam.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very
But let's
man Sam. No
not
attack.
count him out just yet. He goes bishop e6, activating the bishop. I think Wesley's doing a great job. Also, 2.5 minutes up on the clock. Let's see how Wesley's going to try to wrap this one up.
I have a few moves here, maybe. Is knight d6? That's a little too much. Maybe just rook c1, bishop b2. Yeah,
Well,
maybe.
rook c1, you hang a2. I mean, Black might as well just take it.
That's
at least
true.
have
Yeah, you're
something
right.
going.
That's true. Yeah, get something going. So maybe break the bishop up.
Yeah,
Move the
bishop
knight
e2 is looking
around.
very solid. Yeah. There should be multiple ways to win here for Wesley. And as long as he keeps his nerve, keeps making moves, the game should come to him automatically.
Yeah, just making good moves.
Yeah.
Easier said than done. Up on time. It's clean.
But he's taking a minute here. Has to make a move at some point. And yeah, I think really that first game against Fabiano was the decisive game. But bishop e2 is on the board. Let's see what Sam's going to do here. Maybe queen d5, activating the queen.
That's a great move. I like queen d5. Activating.
Yeah.
All right, maybe put the rook on f8.
Yeah.
Knight e5.
But still, like, how is he ever going to win here? Like, I don't see it
Yeah,
happening.
I don't see that. I don't see that happening for Black. I mean, I didn't even start an attack yet. I've been defending the whole game.
Yeah.
I mean, White's king side is so good. Everything's intact. I'm down in exchange. I have a loose piece.
Yeah.
4 minutes. Almost 4%.
Yeah, and bishop c4, what is that about? He's hitting the pawn on b5, but that can always be protected by
a4.
You know, a4, yeah.
Simple a4.
Bishop c4 looks off to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess a4 probably. You also have queen a4, but maybe there's queen d5. That's probably what he's anticipating.
Yeah, a4 by Wesley, defending the pawn. Maybe a6, trying to, put the pawn under pressure.
Annoying. Okay, yeah, put him under pressure. Yeah, that actually is a thing. a6. That probably was his whole idea. Yep, a6.
Yeah, there's actually no clear way of protecting the pawn. And if you take an a6, that improves the black structure. So
yeah, Sam fighting.
He's fighting here.
Sam fighting for his life right now. Like Sam is I mean, this isn't like it's not over yet. Yeah. It's not over yet. Maybe queen g4. No. What if I just start attacking you?
And Wesley goes knight to d2. Okay, what if you take now on b5 twice?
That's
you
probably
have to take
an intention. Yeah.
You should have to take on a1 first, but yeah,
queen takes a1.
Yeah, I guess you have to take on b5, take, and then
knight f3.
Right, knight f3 hitting the pawn.
There's the pawn, and you can't push it. Well, bishop takes.
Well, king takes. Yeah, you don't lose on the spot, but white should win gradually.
Oh yeah. White should win gradually, right? Queen a1, stuff like that. Yeah. I was actually thinking after take on b5, take with the queen on a1. That's why we have knight f3.
Oh, and then knight f3.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's no d3.
Right. That makes sense. Maybe. Yeah. Good point. Yeah. Then after knight f3, I guess the pawn on d4 is just dropping off.
This just drops, and then we got a clear game.
Yeah.
Thanks for the raid, guys. What's up?
Yeah. So everyone who came from Chess.com events, hope you guys had a fun Title Tuesday. But yeah, I don't see how Sam can keep this one going. It's looking very tough. He's also getting below 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's rough. Very rough. Yeah. We've seen what happens when you get in time trouble here. Yeah. All games decisive thus far.
Exactly.
Wesley winning, Fabiano winning.
Yep.
Sam Sevian.
Yep.
It's all up to him.
Sam's played an amazing event, in the regular portion, but I think the difference in strength is just a bit too much here in the rapid. But yeah, we see a trade on b5. I guess he trades on A1. I expect Wesley to take with the queen and then knight
Queen takes
to
is really
F3.
nice.
That looks,
and then just play knight
looks
F4,
very clean. Yeah.
hitting D4, and then everything's hit. You can't even push.
But he
You take
takes
with
with the bishop. Okay.
Definitely interesting. I'm curious to see what his
Take on
next move
B5 now
is.
for Sam. There's also Queen B1 here.
Yeah, Queen B1.
Hitting the
I
bishop on
just saw
B5
that.
and the pawn on
and hitting
G6.
G6.
Yeah. So
But
let's
then
see if
there's
he's going to go for
D3.
that.
Oh, that's not a move.
No.
Yeah, you just take on
No.
G7, take on B5. That's why we play Queen B1.
Yeah. So everything looks winning here. Knight F3 as well. Let's see which one he's going to choose.
Queen B1. Yeah. It plays knight F3, then D3.
Trades on G7. Queen A1
Queen
check.
A1, Queen F6.
Yeah. Wesley keeping the time advantage. 5 minutes and 15 seconds for Wesley. And Sam getting below 2.5 minutes. Queen A1 check is on the board. I don't see how you. I mean, if Sam had to draw this game, this would be very tough. But I don't even see like how he could ever create any chance
Draw the
whatsoever.
game. Yeah, that's true. You can't play D2. Like this is always on lock. Knights being the best blockaders. And also the king. Hey, don't do king F1. That'd be a blunder in many cases. Oh my goodness, D2 game over. But of course we can get the king eventually. Maybe even play knight D2 first, walking the king up to E3 to really bully the pawn.
King G,
if we see a
king
queen
G8
F6.
by Sam. Okay,
King
let's
G6.
see.
I mean king G8, knight D4. Oof, sheesh, here it comes. Here comes the cavalry.
Knight D4 is a nice move. Yeah, hitting the bishop, threatening knight E6.
Knight E6 is going to be nasty. GG. Get him off the board. Queen G7 is going to be mate. And game over. Start a new one. The bishop goes
C4.
where?
But
you
if
have
you
to go like
queen
here or here.
C3 now. If you go queen C3, where's the bishop going?
Oh, I got to go like the A2. I got to stay, or D5. I have to stay here. I can't do anything.
But if you go bishop D5, D3 drops.
Yeah, you're right.
And and if you go queen D5, then knight to E6, and how are you going to stop queen G7? I think this is all over.
Yeah, this is
no
the
way
moment.
for Sam.
Last moments as Wesley is closing in and being the 2021 U.S. champion.
Yeah, a little bit more than 1 minute for Sam. I think he knows that this one is gone. And Wesley must realize that he's moments away of clinching another US championship. B5, he's testing Wesley. Does he know en passant?
En passant? En croissant, chat? Do y'all know it?
Does Wesley know that he can take en passant here? That's the question. Oh, and he does. He takes on B6, knight to D6 by Sam.
He can play B7.
Everything should be crushing here.
B7 is nice. I like this move.
Yeah, I mean, knight E6, B takes C7, knight C6, like it all looks winning. Wesley just has to choose one. Let's see which one he's going to come up with. Yep.
Yeah, like B7. It ties everything down.
Yeah. There was not a glitch, by the way. There was en passant. It's a legal move.
That's right. It is a legal move. Correct.
Yeah.
And people be emailing chess.com. Yeah, he cheated, or your server's messed up. Your server's messed up. They played a move, and pawns don't do that.
Yeah, but knight C6 on the board by Wesley. His ideas, I guess, is queen D7, rook E7. And that should be the wrap.
Yeah, and rook E7, that's a Rhapsody. Start a new one. Sheesh.
Exactly. And otherwise, there's always knight E7 check and b takes C7, and the knight supports the pawn, pushing
and
forward.
B7. Oh my goodness, everything falling. This is a family channel, Wesley.
Queen G5 by Sam. Maybe he's hope, but B7. B7 is just over. You have to take, and then you hang the bishop on C4.
He's trying D2. Yeah. I think that's what he's going for. But I mean, it doesn't really matter.
But
B7, there's two queens on the board. Oh
bishop
my goodness.
D5 by Sam, hoping that Wesley will forget about the checkmate. But you queen with check.
Guys.
King F7. Queen takes C7 looks over.
This is brutal. Cover your eyes if you're under the age of 13. Oh my goodness.
I mean, everything looks winning here. Queen takes C7. There's also rook E7. Wesley takes, and a resignation by Sam.
Okay.
Huge win by Wesley. He's the 2021 chess champion. Amazing performance.
Amazing. Look at him. Big West with the big flex. Look at him smiling right there. Super hype. That man did it. Two years in a row, by the way.
Yeah. Amazing performance here. Here we see our 2021 US champion, Wesley So. He scored 6.5 in the classical portion, and he came in clutch in the rapid tiebreaker. He beat Fabiano in a very close game, and he was just never in trouble against Sam Sevian.
He was able to win. It's going to be nice, guys. I mean, 100% awesome to see. Very, very great chess. Took it to a tiebreak. Fabiano wasn't able to close there, even though Fabi was so close to it. But now we have a champion, guys, after the tiebreak. So, yeah, we're going to take a short break and come back with the wrap up of and the conclusion of the U.S. Chess Championships from 2021, guys. So we'll be right back. Congratulations to the man himself, 2021 U.S. champion Grandmaster Wesley So. Big West with the big flex, Bach. That was great, right? It was just amazing, huh?
Yeah, amazing performance by Wesley. He played very, very well in the rapid portion. It was a very tough game against Fabiano, but Fabiano just got a little bit too low on the clock, and that definitely cost him there. So for those of you who just tune in today, let's have a look at what happened in the classical portion of this event. So we see that Wesley So, Fabiano Caruana, and Sam Sevian tied for first with 6.5 out of 11. That's why there was a tiebreaker today that was won by Wesley. And we can also have a look at the cross table in the women's section, where Carissa Yip dominated the field with a score of 8.5 out of 11. Amazing performance by her. Her first US Women's Chess Championship, but I'm sure there's still many more to come. And yeah, what do you think this means for the future? Is Wesley gonna win, a couple more in a row, or yeah, what do you think he's gonna do?
He has a possibility to do so, especially if I win 2 in a row. I'm trying to do a 3-peat, definitely. So, but also Fabiano is gonna come back with a vengeance. Like, nah, man, I had it. I was that close. Now I got some things to work on. So I think it's always going to be a shakeup, and every year it's going to be the possibility of somebody else new winning every year, especially with the even the up and coming juniors as well that are very, very strong. Maybe they're working day in and day out, getting better, just like the veterans are. So a lot there. I think Carissa Yip has a great chance of continuing her streak. Irina Krush has a great chance too. She got 8 of those championships. So it's a lot. It's a lot out there. Mix up, a shake up, but nevertheless, it's going to be great chess regardless. Yeah, so pretty good, y'all. I hope you enjoyed it, chat. I hope everyone else loved the chess there. A few announcements here. Actually going to check out, make sure you guys know about the Blitz coin coming up October 27th. You can see they're competing for 1 Bitcoin. You see there, Ditsky there. That's some big boy stuff, right? And then you got Winter Stage. That's coming on November 4th. Okay, November 4th, you're going to have Nemo, Dina Belenkaya. You're going to have Samay Reina, and Hannah Sage, Chris Ramsey, and the champion from tournament R2, Giguk. That's going to be nice. Then you got the Speed Chess Championship begins in November on November 12th. Guys, we got event after event after event, and the World Championship coming up. Y'all know that too. It's going to be hype, man. We're excited for all of this. Hope you're excited too as well. We enjoyed covering this for you guys, and we hope that you enjoyed it. Bach, anything for the chat? Anything for the viewers watching?
Yeah, I hope you all enjoy watching the US Chess Championships with us. As James said, lots of great chess coming up. So, be on the lookout for that. And we just hope to host many more great events for you guys.
Absolutely, guys. More events, more chess, and more of all of this. So make sure you guys are tuned in to Chess.com. Hit the follow button here. Stay with the socials. And stick around for the raid. We will be raiding someone. So appreciate you guys, and good night, and good luck, and good morning for all the other people out there. To everyone, and we'll see you guys on the next event.